Hello, everyone. This is Gloria, and we are live. I'm going to do a couple of checks because I want to make sure that we're good to go. And then I am going to go through a little devotional. This is not meant to be any kind of a preaching style message. This is meant to be a book club that is going through a book called 100 Days to Brave by Annie Down, and we are looking at we're just kind of discussing are looking at all of the things that we need to face or that we want to face that require some courage. And so in her book, Annie Downs is talking a lot about some of the things that she has had to face, and some of the last few topics were she was telling her story about running into some surfers, and she was at a cafe, and so happened that she had to sit next to them and stuff, and they started to share their testimonies about how they came to know Jesus Christ. And they were sharing to a young man who didn't go to church or anything, and she was so impressed at how brave they were to share right there, right in public, right, just naturally, just it wasn't weird, it wasn't anything. They were just having a coffee at a coffee shop, hanging out like buddies, and they just naturally were sharing their journey about God and how they have come to know Jesus and things like that. And so she was challenged to want to be more brave and share her faith more often, um, in a natural setting, and wherever she would go, this would be kind of this in her mind, in the back of her mind. Today we're looking. I think we're on number 4 um, in the series of little topics, and today um, we are in. Let's see where we are. Oh, we're in 4. We're number 4. And our Bible text is Genesis 3, 2 to 4. So if you want to turn there to Genesis 3, 2 to 4, let's read that first. I think I want to kind of read that first. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Gloria Medrano, and I am the host of Heart of the City San Diego podcast, which is going global, guys. We are going global. Like, I booked my ticket. I prayed. I said, Lord, when is the right time? The right time, according to you, to take my visit and return to England, to just visit and hang out and have a great time with friends and family. I have 2 daughters that live there. So I booked my ticket, and I've been just praying along the way, and just letting the Lord lead me into whatever He wants me to do there. And then I joined in a I joined the Monet team, and Monet is a hair and skin product company, and my mentor, Connie Sanchez, she sent me, as I joined, she sent me a little gift package, and in the gift package it had a book by Annie Downs called 100 Days to Brave, and I was like, this is the two most important words in my vocabulary right now is courage and clarity. So those are the two most important things right now. And and a lot of people have a lot of different things to say about courage and clarity, but for me, it's a journey that is very, very real. So it requires faith, it requires courage, and then it requires the delivery of a clarified plan. So, and if there's anything that's what that is in my personality. It is delivering the plan. You just give it to me, let me know what the plan is, and I'm gonna go for it like 100%. And so that is that is something. And sometimes it's not the plan. Sometimes God says, "This is not the plan. I'm going to change the plan," or whatever it is that He desires along the way. And I'm just there for the ride. I'm following along, and I want to be in His will. So let's read. Uh, let's read Genesis, verse 3. And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the the tree in the garden, but God said, 'You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden.'" I want you to hear this play of words here. So, "Neither shall you touch it, lest you die." But the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die." Okay, you ever heard someone tell you that? I have. I don't know about you, but I have had um, older cousins who I have hung out with, and we, all of us kids, were climbing the side of this cliff, and my older cousin, who was notorious for challenging us, and we were too little because well, he could jump over that crack that's like the drop in between is like gonna kill you because it's like more than a 20-foot drop, 30-foot, 40-foot, I don't even know. But he could jump it, but our little legs can't jump that. Well, I always managed to get from one side to the other side, but I could never, for some reason, manage to jump back across on the way home. And so on more than one occasion, I have been rescued by the fire department because I couldn't jump back over the thing. So, yes, the cousin, you can do it, you can do it, you can surely do it, you will surely not die. Well, yeah, I don't know about that one. I've been lied to more than once. So let's get back to our text over here, and this is the part of the book that she's written in, and we're going to kind of go along that. But I want you to imagine like some of the things that go through your head when you think about some of the things that you have to face in the lies of the enemy that require some courage, right? So for me, it was like jumping over that thing, and the cousin was like, "You can do it. You surely won't die." Like, yeah. Um, the real fact of the matter was I was not ready to jump that because I was not there yet, or tall enough, or big enough yet, um, or mature enough yet. He was, but I wasn't. Um, but and nonetheless, and that could have been very dangerous. So those are things that in life we take chances on, right? Um, but there are other things too, like you know the lies that come against us that say to you that you are not qualified, you can never become qualified in this particular thing, right? Whatever that thing is for you. um, and there have been more than one occasions that I was told, "You cannot do that, you cannot ever do that." Even sometimes people raising their voice. But guess what? Little by little, I had to fight against those lies and make choices that I choose to believe what the Word of God says about me, and choose to believe that I can, and that if I choose to go to school, or if I choose to get myself under an organization who really believes in me, not the fact that, you know, maybe even if you've tripped up, even if you've had some things that you made choices that were not so good, well, that doesn't disqualify you. It says that you're human, because we all trip up being human. But in that moment of being tripped up, are there people in your life that are kicking you when you're down, that are saying to you, you will never, that word never, you will never, while you're in the midst of your down moment, is horrible, right? So if you've ever been there, you know what it feels like to have that word never being spoken over your life, okay? Um, so for all of you out there, I want you to understand that in when you are in God, there is not going to, God doesn't look down on you in your tripped up moment and say you are totally disqualified and you will never. No, he has belief that you can rise again. He has belief that you can make a comeback if you need to make a comeback. He has the wanting for you. I mean, if my child messes up, and I've had that happen too, do I look at my child and say, you will never? That would be horrible for a mom to look at a child and say, you will never, right? No, when I see my children trip up, I want to, I definitely want to give them my 2 cents. That's for sure. And I want to discipline them. That's for sure. But I always believe in them. I always want to see the best come out of them. And I always believe that they have another chance, right? So this is how God feels about us. But the lie of the enemy will say, you will never. So Eve was the first woman deceived by words. Words are funny things there, but not the last. God had said one thing, Satan said another, and Eve fell for Satan's lies. Sin and shame entered our world, and Jesus paid for it with his life. See, your struggle to separate truth from lies is something that every human wrestles with. It's hard to believe truth if your mind is flooded with confusion and false stories. And Satan is the one who is always trying to kill, steal, and destroy. In John 10:10, Satan is a liar. I know you know that, but I want to say it again. He is a liar. He wants to define you. He wants to label you and stop you from being brave and doing the work God has for you. When Satan lies to you, for instance, you've got zero talent. You ever heard that? You begin to swirl that thought around in your head. She's better at that, at this job than I am. You ever said that before? I'm definitely the dumbest person in this office. Soon, lies to yourself lead to lies about others. You ever done that? Have you met the new office manager? Blah, blah, blah. Have you done that before? Have you met the new office manager? It's already going to turn to gossip. Not very smart, that one, right? You ever heard that go on before? So Because you are hurting and insecure, this comes out of your mouth. It really does. Or others. I know you've heard this before in the offices and probably in your churches. You hear a lie. You treat it like truth, and it begins to define you like a label. And then you act out that label. Let me stop there for a minute. I want you to think about some of the labels that you might be acting out. Okay? Labels like, he's never going to grow up. He's so immature. He's never going to grow up. Labels like, she's never going to amount to anything. And then you act that out. What label are you acting out today? It's a vicious cycle, you guys, that can be treated only by heaping dose of truth. The real stuff. And so that's why I love the Bible. In his word, God has already given you all the labels you need. And that's how we learn how to treat others and ourselves. How are you treating people today, guys? And what are you believing? Are you believing truth or lie? Friend, it's time to stop listening to Satan's lies and labels so you can hear the truth. Now, I want to stop there for a minute, you guys, because I want it to kind of sink in, okay? This is just a very, very short little part of the book. If you want to get the whole book, go for it and get the whole book. I mean, it's got many, many, many more topics in it, but this is just a little section of the book. And, I want to just kind of elaborate on this little section because it's going to leave you with this thought of, where am I at right now in life, right? What am I really believing? Because a lot of times if we're not careful, we're going through life and we're not noticing that we're accepting internally, mentally, absorbing these things being said over and over again in our lives. And some of these are old stories that come up because one person said something about you, or especially when you're on social media. If you're a big social media person and you're constantly on, you're delivering, maybe you're a preacher on social media, maybe you're um a mentor on social media, or whatever you do. There are people that are trolls who professionally, excuse me, who they professionally follow your social media, and they're trolling you, and they professionally sit there and insult you so that they can trigger you to do something or believe something. They love, it's like it's something that they want to trigger in you, and they do this professionally. I don't know, like they just maybe they don't have, maybe they have a mental illness or something. I don't know, but for someone to be sitting behind a screen and typing comments that are insulting to you is just insane. And this happens a lot. Excuse me, it happens a lot on social media. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. and and people go away from their social media, and it hurts them. The biggest, the most professional people, it will get to them. And I see this in preachers who preach, on YouTube and things like that. And they will talk about what someone said on their social media feed, and then there they are insulting them back on in their messages. And it's not okay to do that. And with that said, be careful of what you're feeding yourself and others. Be careful of what you're believing about you. And there are so many people, so many people, in my time, that I was knocked down by some situations in life that I thought, how am I ever going to recover? What does recovery look like? And I didn't know. And I was searching for someone who would believe in me. And there were a few close friends of mine, my best friend and some close friends of mine. And they were the ones that said to me, "You are not like that. You are not like the others. You are not, this is not going to happen to you. Listen to me." And one of my closest friends got me and said, "Listen to me. Other people have done some really bad things, and they've gotten back up. And you did not fall into that. You did not fall backwards. You didn't backslide. You didn't choose to go back into the world and do the old things that you did when you were down," they said to me. And they said, "Don't worry about what everyone else is believing and thinking about you. You keep going forward. You are not like the rest. You're going to rise again. God's going to bless you with your finances. You're a very smart, very strong woman." And I had to constantly believe that truth. I had to constantly believe that, okay? Because that one word, that one really, really, really important person said to me was, "You will never, ever," right? And this was a real important person. And important people have to really be careful what they say, because you can't speak those words over someone, that you will never, um, ever, do this again or whatever, right? And so, because God, that's not in God's vocabulary. And to represent the ministry, that's not representing the ministry in its correct form. Not that we all are able to do it completely correctly, but to say you will never, that's an obvious statement, and it's not a truth, because really God takes all of us, the worst of the worst. And some people have done some pretty worst things. And God can still take them and use them, um, and they can still make a turnaround, and they can still, be used. And because none of us are exempt from failure, or making bad judgments, or doing the wrong thing. And so, I just want to give you that hope today, and I want to clarify that look at how you are believing things in your world today. You know, many people through the pandemic, they lost family members, they lost jobs, good jobs. They lost their careers, they lost their businesses, closed down. I was just at Balboa Park, and so many of the little shops, the whole thing of there is abandoned. And and so that's kind of, it kind of hurt my heart to see this little section of Balboa Park that I loved when I was, like, in elementary school. When we do the school bus tours, we do the what do you call those, field trip thingies, and that's all closed. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But they'll open again. They're going to open again. They're going to be rebuilt. They're going to be look nice. They're going to be, polished. The floor is going to be polished. There's going to be a new paint job on the structure. The roof that's probably leaking is going to be mended, and it will survive again. And the rest of the world, all of us, we're going to go on. We're going to move on, and we're going to believe for the best, and we're going to reinvent ourselves. Some people have been through major changes where they were able to rise again and reinvent themselves of what they choose, what their next career will be. And it's quite exciting to honestly to, you know, but I was just in an interview with a friend of mine on my podcast, Dinkle Zambrano. We were talking about how um, how exciting it is to start over again. The thrill of building from scratch again. I love that was my favorite thing to do in the ministry. Start one Bible study and grow it, and then cut it, so that one person takes on those people, and then grow it again. And I love the thrill of building that from scratch. Like, I've done that many times over, and sometimes I believed the lie that I because maybe it didn't grow through the pandemic like the way I thought it was going to grow or blossom. But all of you ministers out there, if you're trying to build something through the pandemic, like, Greg Laurie's went on camera and he was like, somebody was interviewing him and he's like, I don't have a congregation anymore. Like, there's no one at church. And so, I mean, come on. If you've tried to build something through the pandemic and, and you feel like you didn't do a very good job, that's a lie from the enemy right there. Because if you even stuck around and was able to stay around, you did an amazing job. You did a brilliant job, and you're better than most. Okay. So give yourself a really big hand clap. Don't even be like downing yourself on that one, thinking to yourself, but I could have done better. You're not in normal circumstances at all, and so that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, what is happening, and I grew my group grew to 120. 100 My group grew to 120 people. Okay. And I'm still thinking to myself, why am I not doing such a good job at this? What is happening? And I'm trying to connect with people, and I'm trying to, and people are so sensitive, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying to navigate these feelings, and one minute they want to come, then one minute they don't, and I'm like, is it me? It must be me. No one likes me. But that's a lie. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Like, it. it has to do with the way that things are right now and how so much fear that's been fed to us through the media, you guys. So don't be so hard on yourself. If you are in a ministry and you are you are running it, and you're feeling these feelings that I'm sharing with you right now, we are all feeling this. Okay, even Greg Laurie, who's like world famous, you know, he's going through the same thing, so it's just weird, difficult times. And I am like so proud of those ministers that you still had a congregation after all of that. You still have people that are still congregating together. That's incredible. Like, that is just incredible. So with that said, I love you guys. Don't believe the lie. And sometimes you just need to encourage yourself and look into God's word, because he believes everything that is good for you. Okay. And remember, the devil took what was good, and he turned it around as though God was trying to keep something from us. And that's not what God was trying to do at all. Okay. God wants to bless you. He wants to bless your finances. He wants to give you everything that you need and that you even want as well. And so, according to his will and his plan for your life. Okay. So I love you guys. And I'm just going to say a quick little prayer. And again, this is just a book club. This is not like, I'm not preaching at you and things. So, if you're running around trying to, you know, wonder what I'm doing, this is just me talking to you as I'm reading this book and going through a little devotional style book club thing, and bringing topics to you that are bringing you an awareness and provoking thought in your own heart and mind to do more, to believe in that God has good desires for you. Okay, guys? So, Father, I just pray a prayer over those that are listening in tonight, all of those on YouTube and Facebook and on social medias everywhere. I pray, Lord, you just touch hearts and lives tonight, Lord. And I just pray, God, that we just challenge those lies, and for ministers everywhere. I pray, God, I just lift them up to you. And I pray just this hedge of protection around them, Lord. And I pray, God, that they rise up fiercely and brave and challenge those things that have come against them, Lord. Um, in the precious name of Jesus, I pray, Lord, and bless their families too. So, guys, I am going to peace out for now. I'm giving you the peace sign. That's my picture shows. My picture shows there. Um, so I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.